A logical call flow diagram is required for any basic or intermediate complex or even very complex IVR auto attendant or attendant console to work. So you got to have the logical call flow in place before actually jumping into any contact center development. So I have created pretty basic call flow wherein a customer calls in and then here's a prompt like thank you for calling ABC Corp's support or anything, right? And then after the welcome message, uh, the logical processing of the call starts to happen, wherein we check in what is the business hours, if it's Monday to Friday, or is it the weekend? Is it between 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., which is the business hours, or it is beyond, before or after, right? And once we have that business hours checked in, we can distribute the call amongst two branches, right? A branch going towards the business hours, another branch coming towards the off business hours, right? So the caller calling in the business hours will proceed further and then will be prompted for further selections uh, from the menu items. For instance, press 1 for orders, press 2 for sales, press 3 for technical support, or to know our office address, press 4, and so on. And then based on the selection of the caller, right? The caller dials 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? The call is transferred to the queue, okay? Order, sales, technical support. Uh, or the fourth option says that to know the office address, play office address. So it's going to be just a play prompt, which is going to speak out the office address. And it's something, as an example, I have experience in one of my customer wanted their office address to be played out. So I have kept it as a very basic, normal, operational auto attendant or an IVR, which actually queues the call and automatically distributes the call to the agent. Now, the call is transferred to the agent, and then finally the call ends, or the office address is played and the call is reaches to the logical conclusion, which is end. On the right hand side, when the branch of business hours happened, it will go to the off business hours, right? And then from there it's going to go to the uh, maybe a play prompt, something like our working hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Please call back us during our business hours. So it's just a very simple auto call distribution IVR thing that I've created. Uh, and this is necessary for you as a designer, as an uh, you know, uh, as a call contact center administrator to create it. And generally, the customer or your client needs to provide this call flow, and you can help them create it. That's a different story. But the call flow needs to be designed by the customer. Secondarily, the prompts that you hear, right? That like for instance, thank you for calling ABC Corp. This is going to be provided by the customer as well. This is not something that you would record on your own voice unless you're really a professional and your voice is really good quality and you have that noise cancellation and all those stuff checked in. So you can demand for these two stuff. One is the logical call flow diagram, and the second is the recorded prompts. Okay, there is specific file format when it comes to the prompt that needs to be 8 kilohertz uh, dot wave file, right? And it needs to be lesser than 50 megs. And of course, if you have got an 8 kilohertz dot wave file, you would definitely not need more than 50 MB, because 8 kilohertz file is relatively very, very small. And to reach up to 50 MB will be like reading a whole couple of pages from a book. So the upper limit is up to 50 MB, which is way more than what you could actually require. So this is pretty decent space, or I would say storage capacity uh, for the file size Amazon accepts, so it's okay. All right, so this is just a logical reference diagram that I created. You can have your own based on the customer uh, experience, based on what they need, right? So, all right, so we had a number, right, that we claimed in our last session. So let me go back and get that for us. Just a second. So this is what we claimed, right? So the number is uh, this is what our main number is, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead back to this number, and I would say customer calls main number this, okay? This is what we claimed. So I'm just gonna keep it in the same format as it was. And just let's copy this arrow down here and paste it. Move it to the center so I have it for you. Okay. So the customer calls the main number this, and then, a prompt is being played, and then business hours being checked and accordingly distributed. And then options are given to the caller, and based on the caller option selection, the call is either transferred to uh, a few queues, or, it's going to play the office address, and then it ends the call. So we're going to achieve this. This is, in our Amazon Connect call center. Okay. So let's go back to Amazon Connect page, and on the dashboard, right? We are back on the dashboard. Now I want you to go down, not in the metrics, not in the rules, but in the routing. Okay. After the phone numbers are claimed, right? We need to decide from the bottom, okay, hours of operations, right? Because that's what is something what we need to create. Play prompt is something that can be achieved quickly, but hours of operations need to be defined first so that we can, achieve our call flow. So let's go ahead and do the hours of operations first of all. Okay. Now we already see that there is a basic hours, always open hours created for us, wherein it says the time zone is America, New York, and Sunday, Saturday, all the time it's open. But do we really need this? No, we don't need this. Let's create a new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, no, add new hours. Okay. And I would say uh, Monday to Friday business hours. That looks good. And I'm going to copy this right here. Let's expand it a bit more so that any other administrator who comes in knows what we did really. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., let's say. All right, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, which time zone that we want to do it? We want to do it in, let's say, New York. Okay, so America, New York. What all day? Do we want Saturday, Sunday? No, we don't want Saturday, Sunday. So we want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Saturday, Sunday we don't want, right? So what we're going to do is select Saturday and Sunday and leave the Monday to Friday option right here and select option remove from here. So the only options left with us is Monday to Friday. Okay. Now I'm gonna save my Monday to Friday. Uh, okay, it's 8 a.m., right? So I'm just gonna do 8 at all the places here. And what do we have in our contact flow? So it says 5:30. Okay, so I'm gonna just put in 5:30. So according to our customer demand. and save it. All right, so hours of operations newly created, which keeps Monday to Friday. That's it, 8 a.m. to 5:30. And anything beyond that, which is before Monday 8 a.m., that is Sunday night until Monday 8 a.m., and beyond Friday, which is like Friday 5:30 p.m. So anything before this time on Monday and anything after this time on Friday or anything in between as well, of course. So this is going to be all of business hours, and only what we have got mentioned right here so is going to be our hours of operations. So we have this defined our hours of operations. In the next section we are gonna proceed further and use them. Okay, so this option is achieved. We're gonna proceed further with our call flow in the next section. uh, but before we leave, right, you can have more configs, for instance, add new, and you can uh, define the days as well, and you can adjust. Maybe you want it on Saturday, let's say 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., let's say. You could do it as well. I just wanted to show you that it's possible to add the days or remove the dates from here. It's pretty much graphical, and it's very user friendly. You can just play around with whatever need you have without doing any coding or any JavaScripting, so it's pretty easier. So all right, with that said, we look good here. We have created our hours of operations, and we'll see you in the next section. Thanks for watching.